Hello there. What's going on, everyone? Tonight I am setting up to do some painting, and I am changing out my old wet palette, and I'm gonna put on a fresh little strip of the magic paper onto the wet palette, and probably add a little more water because wet palette's not quite so wet anymore. And yeah, boop, 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 a little more than that, a little more than that, maybe. There we go. All right, add some. Man, the squeegee part of my wet palette has had a lot of little breakthroughs where I'm mixing paint and I poke a little hole in it, but that's okay. That's okay. How you guys doing tonight? My favorite fish is one that's been primed and is ready to be painted. There we go. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to put together. I actually did get a second ATRT. I put a little. I did a really light priming on these because it's been raining constantly, and so I actually did them with like the garage door closed, and I tried to do it like at a time where there wasn't quite so much humidity. But I'm gonna probably have to start priming with the airbrush at some point. But yeah, one thing I think that's kind of cool. In one of the care packages I got from Order 66 Miniatures, I got a whole bunch of these like dead B1 droids and stuff like that. And so one of the things that I'm doing, like, and I did this, like the second ATRT, is I had him stepping on a B1. So that's going to be part of my basing material for these guys, is using some of the extra B1 bits. So I think that'll be a fun thing to do. But anyway, yeah. So that's been going on. A lot of stuff came out. I've got more unboxings, more videos to come out. There's I think the Stap of videos coming out tomorrow, and then there's a couple more Marvel Crisis Protocol videos coming out tomorrow. One thing I think is really cool. I want to show you guys. I don't know if you guys watch any of my Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, but Ghost Rider. Well, we got a super chat already right off the bat from Bleed Green Productions. Thanks, Bleed Green Productions. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for helping support the channel. Definitely appreciate it. Anybody else out there looking to show some support, that is a great way to do that. So I do appreciate that. There's also lots of links down in the description. But boy, isn't it cool? Like, doesn't Ghost Rider go really, really well in an ATRT? Like, he almost looks like he was made for something like that. Like, I'm really tempted to like permanently affix Ghost Rider to an ATRT. Like, I think that's a really cool thing to do. Or put a clone on his bike. Like, oh man, that's an idea. Hold on. These guys are just primed. All right. These guys are... Like, I could probably make that work. I could just cut his hand off and get him a little closer. I think we could do it. His hand, he pulled it up a little bit tight. But that's... Dude, yeah. A clone on a freaking motorcycle? Are you kidding me? That's a cool idea. Cool ideas, you know. Thinking about doing something like that, but I'm like, I don't know. The bigger thing was, and I did this a little bit in the other video, was thinking about putting him on a speeder bike. He doesn't fit as well on there, but I think Ghost Rider would really like the speeder bike. I don't know. I'm so reluctant to actually glue Ghost Rider onto his bike because then I'm stuck, and I don't want to buy another, because the Marvel Crisis Protocol ones are expensive. So basically, where is it? I'm using a different, a new contrast paint today. And one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to use Black Templar to get a nice dark basing on a lot of stuff. And one of the things I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do my Clan Ren with Black Templar, and then kind of go back over and then do some of the armor, and then just to kind of do the, you know, to soak into all the other places and see, I want to see how that works. So I think that'll be a fun experiment. The other thing is I'm going to try and actually make another attempt with the flight stands. I glued these in already. I got my fly-on dudes already primed the flyers, and so they're like ready to try and get glued onto here, but then I'm gonna have to hold it, and so there's this scary point of like I failed last time to try and get them stable. We got some questions. Hold on, we missed some things. Do you think we'll ever get Geonosians? Yeah, they've talked about Geonosians. I absolutely think we're gonna get Geonosians. All right, so I'm pulling off some of these little bits here. These are the bits that you use to connect them to the flight stands. These are also the bits I used for my Iron Man ARC troopers, or my arc reactor troopers, or my Tony Stark troopers, or however you want to call them. Actually, I'm going to pause for a minute because somebody in Discord actually asked about my arc troopers. So I'm going to show you guys. Here, I'm going to pull this up. We're going to come up and I'm going to come over and look at. I wanted to show off my arc troopers a little bit. I mean, maybe not show them off, but it was asked about. So pull out the Magna racks here. So here are, wait, those are phase 2s. Here's one unit of arcs right there. That's the one unit I did that was kind of more like, they're pretty much light blue. And I didn't do any of the arcs on the flight stands. I had them all standing up. And then the black ones here, I did the same thing. So you can see some of these guys, I glued their feet in pretty good, and I held them a long way to make sure. Like this was a flyer, and so his feet are, like barely in there. So I had to, like, there was a lot of like cement and kind of like letting his feet kind of mold. And you can even chip the feet a little bit. This guy here too, he was another flyer in the center. He's only got the 1 foot on the ground. I just have him kind of leaning back, kind of falling back. I think it's the same with, which guy is that over here? I don't know which one that is. But yeah, so they came out okay. 5s and then we got 5s and Echo, which I did them kind of normal. I put their helmets on the ground. Somebody had asked about the helmets. Man, it's hard to get lighting over here because I didn't have that section kind of lit up. But 5s and Echo have their helmets on the ground, and I think they came out okay. I actually spent some time trying to do the faces on them okay, and they came out well. I love these racks, by the way. Magna racks, freaking awesome. Like, oh, am I playing droids today? No problem. Am I playing freaking Empire? No problem. Love that stuff. All right, let's get back to hobbying. It's a mess in here because I got boxes all over the place. All right, and we are going to try. Was that Oscar? Was that you? All right, well, I'm glad we got to see it. My table is filthy here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to get things kind of oriented and set up. There we go. All right, we are back. So it's a Sunday night. I hope you guys had a good weekend. By the way, let me know in chat, how is everybody's weekend going on right now? Anybody have anything fun happen? Any interesting affairs occur during the week? Hopefully everybody had a good time. It was safe. I'm going to try and put this part on first, like that, and then put this on there like that, and then put this on there like that. That's kind of how, this is Tristan Wren. Hoping this glue holds. Now they did say, I think they said the flight stands are the same type of plastic as the other one, so you should be able to use cement, but the cement takes a lot longer to dry, so I don't really want to use the cement if I can help it. All right, blowing on it. No, see, like, as soon as you let it go, it falls back down. I hate these flight stands. It's like you got to just sit here and hold it for like an hour. What a bunch of garbage. Let's stupid flight stands. Maybe mix some cement in there too. Maybe it wants both. If I'm gonna have to hold it for an hour, I better make it count. Maybe I can put it on something. No, but oh, I think it's holding. Oh, nope. Then he fell again. Oh boy. Sorry, I can't read. Well, we got a super chat. Hold on, sorry about that. Missed. From Jabra75. What's going on, Jabra? Thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. Jabra asks, do you think we will get Phase 2 clones anytime soon? Yeah, for the reprints. You know, they should be coming in. Hold on, I'm going to show you something. And it boils down to the boxes, right? As I'm holding this, I'm reaching around. Oh no, my camera's falling as I'm holding this. Wow. All right, I'm having all kinds of. See, I blame the flight stands for all of my problems in life. Okay. Oh, that's gonna work. But basically, if you look on the bottom of the boxes in any reprints, you're gonna see this right here, this Game Genic logo. They had to redo all of their boxes with this thing, and so a lot of stuff. And this happened right after Phase 1 or Phase 2s came out. So they didn't expect everybody was going to want to buy like 6 Phase 2s. And then, somebody on some podcast or whatever said, oh my God, Phase 2s are the greatest thing ever. You're going to want to max them. And so then I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly what happened. But the common meta belief was that you needed to max your amount of Phase 2s. And as a result, people kind of went nuts for Phase 2s. I'm of the mindset, 2 of just about anything is usually good. But I think in this case, people thought there was a different mindset. All right, let's try the next one. And this is the one who's phoning home. Oh, we missed that side with some primer, but I think we'll be okay. I think there's enough on there, hopefully. But, yeah, so that happened. I think after that, they had to do the reprints, and the Game Genic was announced at Gen Con. And then next thing you know, they're like, hey, we need to rebrand all of our stuff. So Phase 2s just happened to hit at the worst possible time. And then a lot of other stuff has also been kind of ran out not long after that, like the B2 Super Battle Droids, and then some of the tanks, and a lot of that stuff that came out had the same kind of thing. Wow, this is with just the cement and not super glue. That went on a lot easier. Am I out of focus? There we go. So that held much, much easier. Okay, that looks good. I only bought one Clan Ren box. I don't get to play Rebels enough, and this is I'm having to make some changes because it's getting expensive to support so many different games, and so I only bought one Clan Ren box and only one Stap Riders box because I don't play those factions as much, and hopefully I don't regret that, but I'm not as worried about it. I don't like the Staps all that much. They seem okay, but I don't get to play Separatists very much. And I know that when I do play Separatists, very, very shortly, it's going to be all about Maul and maximizing lightsabers on the field. So that's going to be pretty much what I end up doing. All right, so this one is also just with the cement. And yeah, that's where that's going. Oh, yeah, the cement is definitely the way to go there. The super glue doesn't like to stick to the fight stands, but the cement holds it really, really well. I should have been doing that all along. That's a great idea. Okay. Well, that looks awesome, actually. Yeah, she looks good. Very good, very good. All right, let's check out some of the comments. You're pretty sure someone is going to mod ARC Troopers to make ARCs from the 2003 Clone Wars show. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people have been doing stuff for the Clone Wars show. X-Wing has the the lat coming out, and yeah, I know that people are gonna paint that one with like the shark face, kind of like the lat from that one. Also, I know that there's already people planning on doing that sort of thing, which hey, I think that's a cool idea. I'm not gonna do it. I think that's a good idea for them. All right, let's see if I don't regret this. I'm gonna start off with shaking up. Yeah, shaker contrast paint's really good. I'm gonna start off with some Clan Ren, and I've also got my riders too. I need. Oh, what do I wanted to do? Apothecary white for the riders. So let's get both of these ready because my riders are over here. I actually put all four together because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take all of my extra bits and maybe see if I can mold something out of them. Because I've got, man, where's all my bits? Do any of you guys save all your extra bits and pieces and stuff? Like I've got this whole bag right here of all the extra bits and pieces and things that I don't need. And I have a lot more than that, but I'm gonna try and like put them all together into some kind of like abomination and see see how that'll go. I think that would be fun. But I could be grossly incorrect. We'll see. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna actually stir that a little bit. That's been sitting there for. I'm actually sticking the bottom of my brush into the Apothecary White. Apothecary White's one of the types of contrast paints that has like the most need to be like shaken profusely, because otherwise it comes out like it's a big difference on if it's shaken well or not. And yeah, you gotta go crazy with it. All right. Actually, this makes me want to invest in some kind of paint shaking machine. And people like to make jokes if they're around and you're doing this too. All right, I think if you check the bottom, it looks like this one's starting to get shaken up really good. All right. So the problem is about trying to put this on just these guys is that they are separate from their bases and everything. So I'm gonna hold them by the gun, and this is gonna go pretty much all over this dude. I like Apothecary White on clones and stormtroopers. Man, I wish I had this when the game first came out, and I was just doing stormtroopers, because I would have done all of mine with this. And I'm gonna put it on real thick. And this is a good one. Basically once it's dry, it's gonna really kind of frame the white a lot better, and then you can come back and you can highlight, you can edge. You can do your edge highlighting for your white. You can see kind of like right there how it goes into all the cracks, and it won't be such a bright white. It'll be a more realistic, kind of worked in white, which is good for stormtroopers or clone troopers. It's good for troopers that are out there working. They're out there busting their butts for the Republic. All right. Got a bunch of these guys to do. See if I can do them while they're in their sticky tack. I hate trying to paint minis that are in sticky tack because they always end up getting like dislodged from it, and it's just so awkward. Let's see. Let's see. Ethan opted to mod his arcs so Fives matches his heavy weapon card and is ripping a droid's head off. That's awesome. I'd love to see some of your guys' paint jobs. You can, if you guys are not, how many of you guys are watching that are not members of Discord yet? Because Discord is a pretty cool option for a lot of people to just kind of get into a community. There's lots of games that have their own Discords. I started mine based on a request a long time ago, and it's been pretty good because I've got all the different games on there. I've got channels for them. They're a great place to share your pictures, to ask questions, to find links to other Discords as well. And you can be a member of as many Discords as you want. I think you can join up to like 100 at once or something, some kind of crazy high number like that. All right, I'm really just worried about this guy and that guy. And I don't want to do some funky business with the Mandos. So I started a new book series. How many of you guys have been reading any of the Star Wars books? Because there was a new Thrawn book that just came out. Got a Nagal has a question, but you didn't ask it yet, so that you just missed it. Sorry, you missed your opportunity, man. Question window closes in 3, 2, 1. Oh, sorry, man. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm going back and forth between painting and then checking the comments and stuff like that. Chris asks if I've seen the new Dune preview. No, yes, I did. It looks pretty good. The music's terrible though. But the movie looked like the setting and everything. I love the way it's all framed and the lighting and the actors. Man, they got so many A-listers in that thing, man. There's a lot of people I'm really interested in seeing. It looks to be very enjoyable. I do have the Dune book on my list of books to read because I never actually read the book series, but I've heard from a friend that they're pretty dry and they're tough to get through, and I've become a little bit spoiled by some really, really good readers like Jim Butcher with the Dresden Files. I've just finished Thrawn, Chaos Rising, and that was awesome. I'm thinking about doing maybe a book review for that. But yeah, Chaos Rising was really good. I enjoyed that very much. All right, so these guys are done. But I started a new series today called the Iron Druid series of books, and so far that's enjoyable. I think I started it yesterday. I'm like 8 chapters in or something like that. It's really enjoyable so far. I'm having a pretty good time with it. You read some Dresden Files books a year ago? Yeah, there's a lot of Dresden File books. All right, Nagal asks, I have the Clone Wars starter set, and now you want to get a box of units for both Republic and Separatists. If you had to get just one for each army, what would I recommend? Well, it depends on what you are trying to play. If you want to play in tournaments, like you're going to need 3 core units. So you would have to have a core unit, right? So you'd like phase 2 clones would be ideal, and like B2 super battle droids would be ideal because that would give you your 3rd core option, and then a little bit of diversity. But outside of that, I think the BX droids and then the X5s, the ARC Troopers are probably the best value because you're getting so much cool stuff there. All right. Now we're going to try, this is going to be tricky to see how well this comes out. I feel like I want to water this down a little bit, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to water these down. So here we go. Wow, this is very dark. This is much darker than I was expecting. Oh well, I can always go back over it. And actually, that's okay. Yeah, because it's going to fill in the whole thing. I need a different brush, though. This is too fine of a brush if I'm trying to blanket the whole mini in this. This is too fine of a brush. Oh, this is going to look pretty cool, I think, when it's done. Here we go, so you guys can see it a little closer up. That's really dark. I should not have done Inferno Squad and I shouldn't have primed Inferno Squad in black. I should have primed them in the same primer as this, because this would have brought them to a really nice layer of black. Wow, man, Black Templar is cool. It's a nice black because it gives you like this kind of medium dark gray, like this cross between dark grays and medium grays. So it's going to dry really, really well, and it'll still allow you to add black details if you want it to go darker. There we go. That's pretty. This is pretty nice looking. Because yeah, I can easily go back over all of the black and then add coloring to the armor plating that's on top, and then even add some edge highlighting to that. So this will be a fun way to do these guys. And I figured I could take a chance with maybe having them not look all that great because of the fact that I don't play Rebels as much. I want to play Rebels more, but there's a lot of factions out there, and I think I've been really wanting to do a lot more with the Empire lately. Although, watch Ahsoka come out. Like, all right, so here's a question for you guys. When Ahsoka comes out, do you think they'll do her as, what will be the first version that we see Ahsoka for? Will we see Ahsoka as Republic first or as Rebel first? That's the question. That's the question of the day, because I think there's a lot of arguments for both. They have already done Sabine, so I feel like they started on the Clone Wars stuff already, and I'd like for them to keep going with all of the Ghost crew. I'm annoyed that we haven't seen anybody else from the Ghost crew yet, but that's just the way it goes, I guess. I'm missing spots. I don't want to miss any spots because I want this to be a nice smooth coat. Man, this has got a, I like this contrast paint. This might be my favorite one. This is really cool. I got a lot on the head there. I got to take some of that off. Whoops, sorry, I was out of frame. I think I need to get a better, you know, it'd be cool if I had a better setup out here in the garage where I record, so I could actually do this more often. I wouldn't mind doing that more often. So we're getting close to 40,000 subscribers also, and that's also a really fun time to, so I see somebody saying Rebel, I see both would be pretty cool. I would actually, that would be a fun release, is if in the same wave they announce like multiple versions of Ahsoka. I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do gameplay wise though. Like, while that would be cool to do them at the same time, I think you want to do one first and then learn from her command cards and learn how people are using her to figure out, like, because any command cards you add for one, the other one's going to have access to. So, you know, then eventually that's going to mean 6 command cards. So before you jump right into 6 command cards, let's see how the first 3 work. And then, you know, because you can play test until the cows come home. Am I planning to remake the How to Play Armada? Of course, there's going to be all new rules. I will definitely be remaking that. This came out so good, man. I really like that. How's it look for you guys? What do you guys think of this? Obviously, it's wet and shiny right now, so this is going to have to, contrast paints take a long time to dry. But this is a really good start. This is a really good start. I think it's so cool looking. I like it. I should have been using this paint earlier. Man, that's pretty. That's pretty for Clan Ren. All right, I do want a different brush, though. A slightly thicker brush. Let's see. Might this one be good? This one's a little thicker. This one probably work. Since I'm trying to apply it pretty liberally. I think this one will work. I'm not going to do the flyers just yet. I'll do the flyers last. Yeah, that's all right. All right. So, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I didn't do much this weekend except film lots of videos for all of this stuff. I've been pushing out like 2 videos a day. I've got another one ready for tomorrow. I've got Marvel Crisis Protocol. Another, and I know my Marvel Crisis Protocol videos don't get a whole lot of views. I think they're still valuable because I still build out the mini. A lot of people, when they do unboxings of sprues, they just show you the sprue, and I always hate that because I'm like, showing me the sprue is really a minimal effort. You've got to build the whole thing out. That's what I want to see at least, and so that's why I do that for my videos. I do that for Marvel Crisis Protocol 2. I don't usually build the whole thing like live because then it could be like a 30-minute video or something like that. So usually I just build it and then come back and show you the whole thing once it's done. But if there's any tricky parts, I'll highlight those, or like be like, all right, like come in the middle and be like, oh, by the way, before you see the final thing, this was hard. All right. So this is the Best Cat Duelist. This is a really nice color. I need to use the smaller brush just to get up in there and get the inside of that cape. What a great color this is. Love it. All right, now we've got Ursa Wren. I left her visor down too, her rangefinder. You really want Legion to make an HMP. That's a cool idea. That's a really cool idea. If Legion were to make an HMP droid gunship, I think that would be slick. I think at some point I could have sworn they teased something about a vulture droid showing up on the battlefield. I think there's a pretty good chance of something like that happening. I would love to see that happen. I also really think we need some more droid-centric commanders in Legion. So I'm really pushing for that. I have some theory or speculation or gripe-based videos to make about Legion also coming up in the near future. I've got so I have some thoughts, and I'm going to talk about those. But hopefully we'll get back to making some more double critical episodes because Sean and I want to talk about the worst things about Legion, some of the worst cards and upgrades and things that maybe they will address in the points rebalance. That's what we're looking at targeting for our next double critical episode. All right, Ursa Wren, you're looking good there, young lady. Well, she's an old lady by this point, but that's okay. She's still a butt kicker. All right. Republic gunship, yeah, I think a Republic gunship would be the LAT would be a very, very cool option. You know, the thing I really want to see also is I want to see more transport units. I want to see enclosed transport units because, like, I'm reluctant to put a lot of units in transports because they'll take a shot and then I lose a dude that before I even get a chance to get them out the door. I don't like that. I want some transports that can actually, safely transport my units. That's one thing I wanted to see in the game too. I want to see, well, and not just AT-ATs. I mean, I do want to see AT-ATs, but I'd love to see the rebels with like a true transport capability to get those fleet troopers in position. Man, could you imagine if fleet troopers could be easily positioned? That would be a really cool thing. I would like something like that. Maybe I got to do a build for the rebels that uses fleet troopers and has only 3 core options, and I choose 2 of them for rapid reinforcements, and I just get Like I get fleet troopers. I get 2 fleet troopers set up for rapid reinforcement, and I find a way to maybe give everybody else HQ uplinks so I can deploy the fleet troopers wherever I want. Right? Maybe there's a way to do that, and basically give those fleet troopers onto or infiltrate. That would be a kind of a cool idea. It's only got to be around range 2, right? All right. Those guys are done now. We got to do our flyers. I think the flyers are mostly dry. I hope. If not, I'm going to be mad if they start drooping. Tristan Wren was the first one I did, and he's holding pretty steady. I think using the ultra-thin cement was a smart way to go, it seems. I just got to make sure I don't get this all over that flight stand. I won't mind so much if a little bit gets on there. I'll just have to deal with it. It'll be learning the cost, the price of doing business, right? But sometimes when I'm painting minis, I hold them pretty tightly, and I'm afraid I'm going to snap this guy off when I'm trying to paint him. And I know this is wrong because I think in the box art they showed most of these guys with like a white based armor, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'm doing it different. I'll put more stuff on them. I'll put more colors on them after. But this is also to fill in and get like all the in between the armor spots and all the pouches and all the, you know, the leathers and the under the helmet stuff too, you know. And give me a lot of, oh man, this is going to be fun. Coming back and figuring out what color I want to do the armor plates and what color I want to do the gun pouches. I might, wouldn't it? It might be kind of cool to, no, you know, I think for, at least for Tristan Wren and Ursa Wren, I'll probably look up their color schemes and try to give them a very similar color scheme for their actual armor plating. And try and do their helmets the same way, because they're named characters. But for Clan Wren, I'm going to come up with my own thing. I think I might make them kind of in honor of Sabine. I might borrow some like pinks and purples. I think that's a pretty good idea for the rest of Clan Wren. Dude, I love this contrast paint. I am digging it. I am digging it. So I installed a new video game this weekend called Mordhau. So that's a fun one. Let's see. Hold on. We got here. Oh, I missed a bunch of stuff in chat. So sorry about that if I'm not getting to all of the questions. Sorry if I. Oh, this is not on. This is still falling. Son of a gun. I guess we'll have to come back to that one. What happened to that one? All right. Hold on. What happened to you? You're not supposed to do that. So somebody asked what glue I would suggest for new. If you're joining now, most of this stuff is on in hard plastic. It's all done in hard plastic, and I recommend this particular. Hold on. This particular Tamiya extra thin cement. It's wow, is that really $5.99 at Hobby Lobby? Because it costs like $10 on Amazon, for crying out loud. All right, well, anyway, Tamiya extra thin cement is really, really good for hard plastic. Okay, see, that seems like it's holding him in right there. I haven't used any of the other cements or whatever, or any of the Citadel stuff, so I can't speak to it personally. But that's what I use. Now, I also sometimes use, for when I need super glue, I use Loctite Ultra Gel Control. That's for the older, softer plastics. It's also good for something that's gonna, like, if you have to glue something to a different material. Sometimes it's a real thick kind of a gel. BX droids with the BX droids with the shields. The shields are the same material as, it's the same hard plastic, so you should be able to use the cement. Should be able to use it just fine. At least that's what the devs said. I had already used a little bit of super glue, just a tease of it. But yeah, I think you could use either. They actually kind of snap in a little bit too. So as long as you get just a little bit of... No, I'm sorry. I think somebody suggested use PVA glue on those shields, which is the white glue, like Elmer's glue or something like that. Just a hint of that. I think that's what I used for the BX droids. Because I use PVA glue if I'm gluing basing materials down. All right, so she looks good. Man, these guys are coming out really radical. Like, I'm very happy with the way that they're looking. This guy's still holding. This is the last one. Hopefully he don't break as I'm trying to put this stuff on. He's moving a little bit. All right. Holding that foot so I don't knock him loose. Give him a little more stability on here because he's still not all the way dry yet. So I would also suggest waiting for these guys to totally dry before you try and do what I'm doing right now. But I was a fool for trying this too soon. This is the thing is, like, the weekend's almost over and I wanted to do some painting, so I was rushing. I'm like, no, I gotta make use of the time that I have. It's always kind of a bummer when weekends, well, it's probably not as big a deal this year, but in the past, it's usually always a bummer when it's like Sunday night and got to go to work in the morning. You're like, oh, the weekend's over. Oh, man. But now it's just like, oh, it's just another day. Okay, whatever. All right. Oh, that looks good. Okay. That's going to be, I think, a wrap for them. Let's see, what else do we got? I don't think I want to do that. See, now, Inferno Squad, I based them in a black. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a gray coat on them. So I think I'm going to mix a gray coat up. That's what I think I'm going to do with Inferno Squad. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missing leader 7. I bought 2 Inferno Squads. Let me push these guys out. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, so we've got, this is 1 Inferno Squad. Boop, 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 boop. Here's the other Inferno Squad. And I did is I obviously did one of the Dell and Gideon with the human heads, and then I did another unit with them with their helmets on, so I could have them kind of a little more generic. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some black, Vallejo black, maybe a little more than that. I'm going to make a lot because I'm going to do all of these guys, and some white. Because I don't have any grays. I'm all out of gray. And I want this to be real, real thin. So I'm actually going to add a little thinner to it. A little bit of thinner. I'm going to mix these right here. Really good. Oh boy, that's thin. I want a little more white than that. Just a hair more. Let's see how well that comes. this is still real black. Perfect. That's pretty good. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to just go all over these guys. I want to get them all the way. I'm out of gray primer, otherwise I would have used gray primer. So I used a black primer that I could then go over with gray. And I thinned it out with some thinner because I want this to be super thin, kind of like almost like a second primer. Because there we go. I need a little more thinner here. A little more. And I don't have to worry about doing this too much because if I miss some spots, I've got the black prime underneath. And so it's... There we go. This is going to be nice and thin. This will be almost like a second primer. Because I want to try that, the contrast again, or at least a Nuln Oil in here. Because that's one of the things about painting black, is it's hard to paint black and make it look good. And one of the best ways to do it is to really go gray. Just to really just go gray, and then you can have the depth in there. You can have the shadows and the raised areas and the lighter areas. And I do like that idea. Because otherwise, like, I think when I did my Death Troopers, I just primed them in black and, like I said, okay, it's done. I put some glossy bits on the armor pieces. You know, and I mean, they're okay, but I mean, like, you could do so much more than that. These guys I want to be careful on because I don't want to get their skin. This is Delin. Oh, this is Delmico. Whoa. Bumping into things. All right. Let's try Gideon Hask here. See, I missed some parts with the prime because I was doing it kind of quickly, but it's got enough of I think the dust from the prime on it that at least this second kind of quasi-prime coat is going to stick well enough here. And I'll come back and I'll put some flesh tone on these guys once this is all dry. I'm not gonna do this whole squad during the live chat, or at least they're not gonna be done during the live chat. I'm just kind of gonna get some things done and let some things dry and see how much I can get done for tonight. And then I'll take a little break. I've been so let's see. Let's check in with some of the chat. What faction would I add? I don't know what's that. Chris asks, what are the advantages of the wet palette? Well, that's a good question. So normally, you know, if you're using a normal palette, I have, this is an old one here, but it's got a lot of, you know, you could tell it's old. You know, your paints will tend to dry out pretty quick. I've got kids and a wife and a lot of potential distractions in the household and stuff. So there's been numerous times where I put a little bit of paint in, or maybe I mix some colors, and I get like a, hey, can you do this? Can you, you know, and then I have to go do that, and I come back and my paint's now dry. In a wet palette, your paint will stay wet for days. I have had, I think, a week at one point, because when you're done, you take this top part and you put it back on. It creates kind of like an airtight seal. And so by doing that, you know, like you got the water underneath, you got this right here. So yeah, it really keeps your paint moist. It saves you money because paints are not cheap, and it saves you a lot of money and time and frustration and all of that. Especially if you're I think the biggest advantage is, like, right now I mixed this color, this particular shade of gray. Now I know I'm going to be putting, you know, at least a wash, maybe contrast or something like that over this one, so I'm not super worried about it. But let's say I was actually, you know, trying to come up with like just the right shade of gray for edge highlighting. or for some other detail. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. It stinks if you do a custom mix or custom blend and then it dries out. Then you have to mix it again, and then maybe your next time your mix is not the same exact, and so it doesn't match or doesn't blend. So that's a really good advantage, I think, of a wet palette. And this one was actually gifted to me by my buddy Sean. So thanks for showing me the new frontier of wet palettes, Mr. Sean. I don't like this pose on the Ion Gunner or whatever. He's just weird looking. All right, we're getting a little low on this, huh? That's okay. Yeah, I may end up running out of this stuff and having to remix it. And that'll be interesting. I think I can get close enough to this gray. Well, actually, I might be able to make it go all the way. I'll be really happy if this lasts all the way out. I love sitting down here and painting in the garage, though. It's been so hot. We got a lot of rain, so it's really humid. But at least the rain kept the heat down today. So that much is nice. But I put on a good audiobook, and I just paint and drift off into fantasy worlds. And there's another Dresden book coming out soon. Do any of you guys, or have any of you guys seen or read The Expanse? That's a really good series. I very, very much like The Expanse. What was my favorite mini to paint, and where do I live? I live in Orlando, Florida. And my favorite mini to paint, might have been. I had a really good time doing some of the Order 66 Mandalorians, so I think I'll probably really enjoy Clan Ren. That's definitely one of them. I also really liked painting the droidicas because I put that metallic blue on that one unit, and that came out really funky, and I was pretty happy with how they ended up coming out. The B1s are my favorite as far as time consumingness because they're so quick. The B1s are real easy to do. They have been a favorite of mine for that particular purpose. But no, I really do like a lot of the clones. I like doing clone troopers. I like doing the clone armor, the arcs. I think the arc troopers were my favorite units to paint. Yeah, final answer. Arc troopers so far. Loved doing them. Especially since I got past the first unit. The first unit came out like Iron Man, and I didn't even show you guys those. I posted some pictures of them to social media, but they were like a joke unit. They were a test because I hadn't painted in a long time when I got them, and I'm like, all right, it's time to kind of break myself back in. All right, these guys are looking good. Yes, and this is, I think the thinner was a good way to go here because this is going on real thin. Nice thin coat, and it'll be primed for some depth. And I think if I put any of that black one on here, I'll probably thin it out a little bit. Actually, a little blue in here might look pretty cool. I might do this for the second. So this is an idea. You guys let me know. I could do this second unit because I have 2 Inferno Squads, and I'm not going to use them both. I don't want them both to look identical because the other one's just going to be Imperial Special Forces. I could do those ones with a little bit of a blue wash over this gray prime for their depth. That would make them and sometimes blue and black go really good together too. So I'm thinking of doing that. these might be dry enough that we can see how that'll turn out, too. All right, they're all done. Look at that, and they're mostly dry too. Wow. All right, I have to do one thing with contrast paints. Oh, that broke off. You got to go back through, and like you see this guy, there's those little white spots, like right there on the arm, where like it bubbles. It's almost like there's like a waxiness to it, and then so certain parts look like they were covered, and then they get missed. So then you kind of have to go back over because I don't want there to be like little white spots on them. Wow, yeah, that's annoying. So I'm going to go through, check these guys out. Who still needs to... Well, this worked out well. Oh, man. Like, do you see, like, his chest? Like, as it's starting to dry, it's got, like, this gradient to it. That is so awesome looking. Almost makes me say, you know what? I'm not putting any more paint. These guys are done. Just like that. Of course, that's not the case. But it's beautiful. Holy monkey, it's really nice. I don't know if it's showing up that well on camera or if it seems like I'm exaggerating or not, but I'm really impressed with this. Yeah, these guys are going to be... That's the problem, is if they come out that good, I'm going to want to use them more. And I'm going to be like, oh, I guess I'm running some Mandalorians now. Because, I mean, even with just one unit, you can run two units with just one expansion. So this was these are good value. This whole wave, real good value for what you're getting. I like that they're doing that. Keep your customers happy. And do you dry brush or layer highlight? I don't. I used to dry brush a lot. I very rarely dry brush now. I only dry brush usually if it's like a fabric or like a Wookiee or something like that. I would dry brush. So any type of creature with a lot of hair, I'll dry brush. Or if it's something I'm not super worried about, like something a mini that's not for Legion or something like that, or if I'm like painting a mini for a minis game. Like Zombie Side is a good one where you, like, if I was painting something for like that where I've got like hundreds of minis or whatever, I'll dry brush because that's a really quick way to get like a mid-level of detail, and so that much is good. But if it's something I really like want to take my time with and do well, I will edge highlight because that's I've only recently started doing that, but it's really, really worth the extra time because it looks so good. Yeah. And that'll be fun if I start doing some 40K stuff once I hit 40K subscribers. Because from what I've seen, it looks like those Space Marines are all about edge highlighting. All right. Okay, so that is good. Now, let's see. I'm thinking of doing blue. What do I have for... Any good contrast paints for blue? We've got that. Oh, that's almost gone. That one's green. No. Nope. The closest I've got is this Griff Charger Gray, but it is... Oh, there's hardly anything left, and it's all turned to gel, so it kind of baked. That is one problem I have. I've been in Florida. Some of my stuff bakes. But I've got Tenebrous Blue, which are very similar to contrast paints. And I'm going to try doing that over here. So now with something as wet as this, I don't usually need to put it on a wet palette. So a lot of times I would use a regular palette for something like this. So let's see if I can put this away for now. Even though this is, I need to like peel all of this paint off and it would just come out. Like I wish I could get it to just peel off as one skin and have like a clean palette underneath. All right. All right, so I put a bunch of that into there, and I'm gonna try and see how blue looks on these guys. Who do I want first? Let's try this Del Miko, dude. Is that gonna be too dark? Oh, that'll be kind of dark. I might want that thinner than that, huh? Yeah, that's gonna be too much. I want to thin that out. But since this is the second unit, I don't mind as much. I can also go back over with some Nuln Oil. It'll be a lot of washes by the time I get it done, but it's kind of experimental. We're trying something. I don't know if I've done gray and blue like this before. So I don't mind experimenting a little bit. Because this is the second unit. This is the backup for when I want to run multiple Inferno Squads. Which I don't know how often I'll really want to do that. It might be a pretty rare occurrence. I think I will probably more often than not want to run just one or maybe two tops. Okay, this isn't too bad. I don't know. Let me adjust my light. Here we go. Yeah. There we go. A little better view. So we're kind of wrapping up a little Sunday with some relaxing painting. And I hope you guys all had a really good weekend. Yeah, it really depends on how it dries. And I won't do this on the main unit. I love doing a test run first. And I have a feeling this will be okay. Because again, it's gonna dry into those cracks. My only worry is that since I've primed kind of twice and now I'm putting a wash and I might do like another wash over the top, is that will it be too many layers? Will I begin to lose some definition if I do it this way also? And that's one of the slight worries. But I'm also not going in for a competition. If I were, I would probably do multiple tests. And I would probably separate each mini and try a totally different thing. I'd prime each mini individually, figure out how I wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? There's probably a more organized approach to seeing what you're gonna like. But man, those Mandos. Dude, that dude looks bad. He looks so awesome. Those Mandos came out really well. All right. Some of these, like, this is one of those sculpts that's a real pain to get in there and you know, you kind of have to be like, well, nobody's going to see in there anyway, so I guess I don't have to focus too much. So what factions do you guys, what's your favorite faction versus maybe least favorite faction? You can even be for different games too, but I imagine if you're watching, you're probably thinking Legion first and foremost. But I'm also curious, if you play multiple games, is your favorite faction the same amongst all of the games that you play, or is it does it change from game to game? Like, would you like the Rebels in one game, but like maybe not in another game? And that seems like the whole concept of that seems weird to me, but I could imagine that possibly being a thing, like where somebody's like, look, I love the way the Rebels fly in X-Wing, but I hate them in Legion or something like that. I could see that. Ethan likes X-Wing and, or rather, the Empire in X-Wing. All right, yeah. I liked its high advanced in X-Wing. Used to be my favorite ship in X-Wing 1.0. All right, those guys, that whole unit is done now. And that's actually a pretty good, like, color scheme for a special forces kind of unit now too. I mean, honestly, they're good to go. I'm gonna try out. I'm gonna see how this works, but I want to thin this out a little bit. I'm gonna put a whole bunch in here. All right, let's put a little thinner in there. I probably could have just used a Nuln Oil instead. Oh, I think this will work. I think this will work. Yeah, there's still some definition underneath. Okay, all right, I like this. Thinned out the Black Templar over the gray version. And there is... I'm gonna have to see how that dries, but I think it looks pretty good. I think it's gonna dry well. Do I do much airbrushing? Sometimes. I'm probably gonna do some more in the not too distant future. I would like to do more than I currently do. It's a chore though to pull out, set up an airbrush, and so I think I want to kind of do that once I have multiple things that could use some airbrushing, and like I'd like to airbrush the ATRTs. Like I'd really like to airbrush these, and so I think I might hold off on those until I pull the airbrush out again. Because then you also, when you're done, you got to clean it. And I learned that I already destroyed one airbrush by not properly cleaning it, and that's a mistake I will not make again. It's okay to make a mistake, although sometimes some mistakes are more forgivable than others, but if you don't learn from a mistake, that's what's unforgivable. So I think this is turning out nicely. I'm almost done. You guys, hey, I want to tell you something cool. Since I'm looking at some TIE Fighter pilots right now, guess what comes out in like 2.5 weeks? Star Wars Squadrons. Ow! Who's excited about Star Wars Squadrons? I know somebody out there is excited about Star Wars Squadrons. I'm super excited about that. I'm also nervous too because I'm afraid I'm not going to like it. I want to be able to like it. I want to be able to just be like, hey, there's a Star Wars video game. I want to just log in and play for like, I've only got a half an hour. Let's do a match. You know, I want it to be really enjoyable, and I want it to have B-wings eventually. I will pay for a DLC B-wing. See, the good thing about, like, I don't want to get too close to his head because I don't want to put any extra paint on his face, because that's going to be harder to do. But, like, I don't have to because it's all black and gray anyway. So, like, you know, this is really just for, I can, you know, if I don't get quite close enough there, it's really not that big a deal. Did we just get a new channel member? Ed Davenport, thanks for joining and becoming a channel member. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your support. Thank you for joining the channel. Thanks for showing some support and helping make the channel possible. Thank you very much. So we are getting close to finishing up, I think. I don't think there's a whole lot more I can do on these because they're all still going to take a long time to dry, but we'll kind of go through them again. Let's see what we were working on today. Well, there's one more thing. I guess I can add a little bit of... No, I don't want to handle them too much more, because I'll have to come back and do the faces on these guys. And I'm terrible at faces. All right. Whew. All right. I'm going to take this down. Let's take a closer look. All right, so our Mandos are pretty much dry. They came out really good. It's going to be really good to go over them and color in the armor. But man, that's a good, that Black Templar was really nice on them. Then we've got the backup Inferno, or the Imperial Special Forces with a little bit of blue, and then we've got the black Imperial Special Forces Inferno Squad unit. So I'll be able to tell the difference between them without too much trouble. That's pretty good. All right, guys. This week we're getting real close to 40,000, so that's cool. We're gonna. By the way, we've got ARC Troopers to give away once we hit 40,000. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be super exciting. And we are also going to be doing some other things. I might have a Crabbok coin available for you guys. For you guys who don't know, the Crabbok coins are out there on Luxury Playstyle. Any order that uses code Crabbok VIP of $35 or more gets a Crabbok coin also for free thrown into their order. And definitely check out... Oh, man, I got paint all over my hands. I got to go wash my hands now. Do I have a favorite tank for a faction? I think the AAT is the best tank. But I like the AT-AT as my favorite heavy because it's a beautiful model. And I need to run the AT-ST way more often than I do. That's my favorite model in the game. Yes, so, whew. That's going to do it for tonight, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. we're gonna do some cool stuff. I got some Kickstarters that are shipping too. I think I'm gonna have some new games to show you guys soon. I think Marvel United is coming this week, so I'm anxious to look at that and check that one out. I don't think I'm gonna paint that one. All right, I will talk to you guys later on. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for all the super chats and new members. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.